In a world where podcasting is king, you are listening to Gundamn at MAHQ.
Who shot you in the ass?
Who? That who would be you.
Me? I shot you?
Yeah.
I mean, I was shooting. Yeah, I did a lot of shooting. I mean, but I ain't saying I shot you in the ass. I mean, I ain't saying I didn't shoot you. But damn! Somebody shot you in the ass.
Tell me about it.
All right, everybody, welcome back. It's 2025. Oh my God, we made it. Right? Everybody here?
Yeah.
You here?
I'm here.
Why do you
Chris.
sound like Walton Goggins?
Yes.
I don't know. That was not intentional. Sorry. I guess I channeled my inner Shane. I don't know.
You channeled the inner Cletus Van Damme.
There you go.
Cletus Van Damme.
Yes. I just saw him in What If the other day too.
What's that dumbass show on HBO with the televangelist? He's Baby Bobby.
Oh.
Is that what he is?
Baby Bobby or something. Yeah. I forget what it's called.
Dumbass show.
It's the something. I forget
Yeah.
what though. Oh my God, that Vice Principals, man, he was the shit in that show. Good shit.
Yeah. I didn't realize. I guess I was just channeling my inner Goggins. Well, I saw that. Is there something he's gonna be in soon that's like got like hype around it? As
Obviously, Fallout Season 2.
yeah, it wasn't Fallout. I thought
there.
there was something else where it was like, oh shit, I didn't know he was there. So, but
He's
yeah,
everywhere,
okay,
so
he's
always
everywhere.
watching.
He's always,
He's always watching.
Always watching.
he's always.
Oh, he's in the White Lotus. The new season of the White Lotus. That's it. Yeah. The new season coming
I saw
up.
the commercial the other day, and I was like, "Wait, he's gonna be in this shit." I was like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
good shit.
okay." Yeah. The White Lotus season 2 is better than season 1. I will tell you that much. I thought it was.
Man, I got to check out the show. Period, but I hear good things.
Season 1's a little weird, but I think season 2 is better.
Right on.
Because it has
man.
Christopher Montesanti.
Oh, that's right. He's in that.
That's not the only reason.
Yo, Quiz.
Christopher.
Yo, Tone. Yo, Tone.
So yeah, man, we made it. 2025. Did you ever think when we started Gundam we'd make it to 2025?
Man, who knew, man?
Yeah.
Almost 20 years date, man.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of dates, I got something if you all want to feel really old.
Oh, yes, please.
So do it.
So, on this day, 30 years ago,
This
was the
day.
premiere of Star Trek Voyager.
Oh, shut up.
serious?
No way. That was
Wow.
January of 95. I remember that.
Wow.
Rounded out my senior year of high school. That's so crazy.
So it went from
You wanna
like
know-
a pretty good pilot, probably one of the better pilots of a Star Trek show, because it is actually a pretty good pilot, and then it just went different after that. But
Well, I got something that's even worse than that for you.
What?
So, Voyager now being 30 years old
Oh man.
is officially older than TOS was when Voyager started.
Oh my god. Yeah, because it was 1 year
Really?
off. Yeah, TOS started in '66. Well, officially, the pilot was in '64, but the show didn't start airing
We're not
until '66.
We're counting from September 1966.
No,
with the Major.
I buy you.
Can't count Kirk and Cage.
I feel
we're
you.
good.
That's fine.
But yes, Voyager is older than Star Trek original series was when Voyager
That's
started.
interesting. I didn't even know that. Oh wow.
So when
Huh.
you think of Star Trek from 30 years ago, you thought, no, it's fucking Voyager.
Yeah, that's so wild. That's so crazy.
Yeah,
man.
there was a point in 1995 where we're like, oh, Star Trek of 30 years ago was that was the original Star Trek, and now you're like, no, it's Captain Janeway, and oh, that's crazy. Huh. Interesting. You never watched the whole entire series of Voyager, did you, still, bro?
I've only seen up to season 4 of that and Deep Space Nine. I was working like 3 jobs at that time, so I couldn't keep up with the tape. But hey, man, I should have watched it by now. I'm not gonna front.
Actually,
Didn't finish DS9. Didn't finish Galactic Heroes.
Yeah, it's a lot. There's several things I've not finished. I do need to get on it. I feel you. I feel you.
But damn, Lower Decks. He was there every week.
I'm gonna pick one.
He was there, Lower
I'll
Decks.
tell you what. I'm gonna make a commitment to y'all. I will finish one of these this year. More than likely, it'll be Deep Space Nine because I owe it to that show most definitely because I do want to see. I already know how it ends because of things, but
you owe it to Captain Sisko.
I owe it to Sisko hands down because he's the greatest captain that's ever been in Star Trek. He's not my favorite, but he is the greatest. I'll acknowledge that. I know people say it's Kirk. Nah, it's Sisko. He went through some shit. But yeah. I owe it to not only Sisko but the cast of that show and everybody behind it to finish that because it's such a lightning rod of a Star Trek series.
Well,
that
he's the most gray area captain.
Yeah,
he's the most. I mean, he is like
he put in so many unwinnable scenarios that he had to pick the best choice.
No, you don't even know. You've season 4. That's the beginning of the Dominion War, right, Chris?
I did see season 4.
Dominion War is season 6.
Yeah,
season 6.
5, 6, 7.
Okay. Oh, the build up. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
So, when did the Odyssey go down? The Odyssey went down in what? The end of season 3?
2.
Season 2. Okay. Oh yeah, that was the. I got a Galaxy class starship. Yeah. Well, this is the next generation.
You're a different
not
old
next generation.
Yes.
You're the wrong old white guy.
Mm-hmm. You have too much hair.
Entirely too much hair.
But yes, this is anything else to depress us on about 2025, Chris? Is there anything else to make us feel terrible in January?
Not in January, but I mean,
I know later on, yes,
tons of albums you can remember from 1995 that were brand new that are now 30 years old.
Yeah.
Do you want to know something that's 30 years old that's like, was an album like just a little while ago? Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill. That's a 30-year-old album.
Well, I bugged out, and I know not many people know this album, but one of my favorite albums of all time is The Main Ingredient by Pete Rock and CL Smooth, and that turned 30 years old in summer of last year. So it's like I freaked out because it's like, man, I remember that album fully. It's like I couldn't stop listening to it. It was so good. And then to learn it's 30 years old, it's surreal to me. It's been that long.
The thing is, it's like I know you all have experienced this too, probably. That like the feeling of when something that you knew of as a new song 30 years ago, and it slips off of the rock station. And it gets busted down to classic rock station.
Yes, Show was just talking about that when he came to my house on my birthday. On it was the previous weekend. He came to my house and he was talking about he was listening to classic rock station, and then Journey came on, and he said, "I remember this song when it was brand fucking new." It's like, what's
top.
Up?
So according to Wikipedia, the top 10 best albums in 1995. Number 1 is Radiohead, The Bends.
Oh yeah.
Oasis, What's the Story, Morning Glory. The Smashing Pumpkins, Melancholy, and the Infinite Sadness. I remember that was a big deal. It's like, oh, they completely changed their sound. And Pulp, different class. Yeah, Alanis Morissette, Bjork, Giza, Liquid Swords.
Oh yeah, Jizza. Yeah, absolutely.
Giza, Elliott Smith, and yeah, that was the weird. That was the change. This year with that 1995 was the change from like the post grunge to like kind of it was a whole different time. Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't even think about that. Albums released. Oh my god, I was just like sitting here looking at some of these. Holy crap. But I know we'll be kind of going to this later later in the year. So
yeah.
Wow.
Hell yeah, we'll be reviewing 1995 because we already did 84. No, wait a minute. Sorry, yeah, we'll be doing 95 as part of
did
our
all
next,
the fours already. Now we
do
got
all the fives
fives
next. Yeah, so we'll be going to this. It'll be something, man.
Well, there'll be lots of things.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a big.
So much.
This is a big year, and I know 1985 is a real big year too.
It sure is.
So,
tons of anime came out that year that were legendary. So I can't wait to get into that. But yeah.
But all right, yeah, this is episode 306 of Gundamn, and guys, glad to be back. I know we were out of action for a while, but we had our holiday hiatus. Christmas is back, but it never went away, but it is back. So we enjoyed that. You guys have a good Christmas. Get all the things that Santa Claus or Krampus was supposed to get you.
I got a new pair of headphones, which I'm using today, so I'm so glad for these.
Cool.
Yes.
Cool.
I'm solid.
They're solid. Yeah.
Solid snake.
Solid snake.
Solid snake. Yes.
Anything as I saunter over to the Larry King Memorial News Studios for some Neo's listener submitted news.
Yeah.
Our topic tonight is actually going to be Twins Force One.
Yeah.
There was
number
movies before. I don't know.
Just real quick. Shout out to the chat that's watching. Thank you guys for tuning in to watch the stream. Much appreciation to you. Also want to let you guys know if you went to go look to see if this was on Twitch, there's a communication issue between on Twitch's end, so I have to find out what that is and fix that. But we're broadcasting live on YouTube, so everything's good there. You can run back the show there, and thank you if you are. Other than that, yes, I have not finished season 5 of The Wire. I need to close that out. I haven't finished this. I haven't finished the final season of that and Parks and Rec. Like for some reason, it's that shit that they talked about in the Desco, where you don't want to watch the last episode because then it'll be over. I don't know when it happened to me, but a lot of times I'll watch a show, then get derailed and never go back to finishing it.
Well, let me ask you this.
It's a bad habit of mine. I'll address this here. It's a fucking bad habit of mine.
Did you watch the
Community
last
as well?
Lower Decks?
I did. I was on that show every week it aired.
So
but if a show gets away from me, if it runs away from me,
you don't,
sometimes I forget to go back.
So.
I was on Lower Decks as it was airing. If I stay on the show as it's airing, I am fucking fine. Like, but
easier. It's actually easier now because you could just blow through them if you need.
Yeah,
to,
if you could find the time to binge.
Difference.
Yeah, okay. I won't make excuses. I fucking slept. Okay, I slept.
Dude, all you have to do is just schedule it. Like, okay, I'm gonna do like
sit down. It's just
how am I mean, I'm able to watch.
The last season of Community is not that good, so you're not like not really missing. Really, like the last 2 seasons of
damn, is that bad?
Community are not that good.
Ouch.
Parks and Rec gets weird. They all get weird after a certain point. I mean, there does come a point where it's just like
I heard Parks and Rec's final season is pretty fucking strong though. I heard it's pretty good.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good, but I can't remember the last episode, but but still, I'm like, come on, man.
I know Leslie goes to work in Washington. Not much I do know. But other than that, the road to get there is what I want to see. So plus what happens to everybody else. So that's.
I just can't. I just can never believe you didn't finish Deep Space Nine. That's been on like 90. It's on 95 different platforms. Like it's. I think it's even still on Netflix. I think. I don't know.
A lot of Star Trek is still on Netflix. Surprisingly, yeah.
That Star Trek is on Netflix. It's on freaking Paramount Plus, and I think it's on MAHQ.
Oh,
it's not on Netflix anymore.
Oh, they took them down. Okay, because I've seen a few.
It
Star
hasn't
Treks
been on
there.
Netflix since Paramount Plus started.
Okay, I don't
Oh,
know,
that's strange.
but
There are some Star Treks
but he
on
has
there though.
but he has
Well, anyway, go
Paramount
ahead.
Plus. So
Back
there
to
you go.
over to you, Chris. You had something to say too as well.
All right, so yeah, this is kind of unfortunately some serious shit. I wanted to talk about Mark Zuckerberg
Oh shit! All right, let's go.
Why?
and Facebook because unfortunately we have to.
Oh,
Obviously, you saw that the coward Trump ass kissing, newly rode up Mark Zuckerberg came out with some news that they were going to stop fact checking on Facebook, but also they were going to be changing rules of what kind of language was permissible. And basically, they have up all sorts of bigotry against anybody who's not a white dude. So, unfortunately, women, minorities, immigrants, the LGBTQ community are all being targeted. So, that LGBTQ people are mentally ill, that's totally okay. If you say white people are mentally ill, that's bad. So, obviously, this has been met with a lot of outcry from all of these affected communities. And, the thought has occurred to me, what, if anything, should MAHQ be doing since we have the Facebook group? And of course, I stopped posting on Twitter um, a year and a half ago as soon as we were on Blue Sky, and that account is just sitting there because I don't want somebody else to get the name. But we have, totally ceased all operations on Elon Musk's Nazi website. So now here we have Facebook, and I will say I don't know what the future holds for MHQ. I have not made any decisions yet. I still want to be a place where people can come to and feel that they can talk about their shared interests with other people. So I think for now we're going to stay where we are. But I will say that we, completely reject this notion that any of this kind of bigotry is acceptable. And Zuckerberg's reasonings are insane. They're craven. They're cowardly. He's obviously just kissing ass to Trump and conservatives, and it's disgusting. And, I recognize a lot of people who are these targeted groups. You have to do what makes you feel safe. And if that means leaving Meta-owned platforms, then I'm sorry to see you all go, but I totally understand why. Of course, there are other places where you can interact with the MHQ community. We do have Discord, we do have Blue
Mecha
Sky,
Talk. Yeah.
and there is Mecha Talk, which, of course, I own. So the only stipulation there is you have to agree with everything that I say, but otherwise, it's a safe space.
Chris is gonna grow a perm. Wear muscle shirts.
Yes. And study jujitsu.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but all kidding aside, it's just an omen of not good times, and just more hate and derision being directed towards people who do not deserve it. And it just goes to show that businesses are not your friend, and in the end, they will always betray anybody in the name of what they think is just going to get them another buck.
profits and share price. Yep.
It's just another instance of the internet. Another instance of the internet changing on the dime. It's happened so many times since I've been on the internet in the 90s.
It's not the internet. It's the U.S. internet.
Yeah, that's fair. But that's the only internet I can access without a VPN. So
because every other country, when he told them that, basically told him to go fuck himself. And the Gundamn Twitter is inactive right now. It's about to be shut down. We will put the links of the other social media. Facebook will not be included at this point. Because, I was wondering what we were going to do on that stuff. Because I know you guys deal with that a little bit more. Because it is disappointing. And The man's reasoning is ridiculous. I think we did this when you were away, Chris. We mentioned about this because there were some things coming out. Because there came a point where we just didn't give a flying fuck when it came to Twitter. And we were just trying to educate people because your world is about to change in a few days. This is January 16th, 2025. And if you live in the United States, it's going to change. And it's also going to change because, unfortunately, the United States is one of the biggest players in the global world, the global economy, global geopolitical thing, and everything like that. So we're sorry. We don't. And to be quite honest with you, if you don't agree with us, because I know there are people that don't, you have an issue with that, then you're free to go wherever you want to go. We don't want you here. And we definitely don't want you advocating and posting stuff, because that was one of the issues I was seeing on the Twitter, where people, we had people posting on that, and you would go to their Twitter account and they'd have some of the most vile shit you would say about people, of marginalized people. So if you don't like women and you don't like minorities and you don't like this, then that's fine. You have places for you. It's not here. So, we are a diverse group. We revel in that. And, Chris, I respect your decision. Whatever you want to do with that stuff, I'm completely behind you, because it's ridiculous. And it's not the way it should be. And it's not the way it is in the rest of the world. So people that think then say, well, it's the only way these businesses can survive. No, they're surviving in other countries, and they're being told what to do.
Yeah, just look at TikTok. Just look at TikTok. That's still going strong everywhere else. And when it shuts down here on Monday, so it's not going to stop. It's going to be able to be used and continue to be used by people in the UK and wherever. It's just we're going to kick. They're going to close the doors of it here. So yeah, it's true. It's just the United States internet.
And this weak-willed thing of masculine energy. I mean, I watched the thing with Zuckerberg saying, and you know what? Any man that has to sit there and tell you that they're an alpha or they're masculine, they're not. They're not. So, newsflash to you guys, there's going to be women, there's going to be minorities, they're going to be smarter and more advanced than you. That's just how it works. That's what's called a meritocracy. That's what everything is supposed to be about. The best person gets the position. It's not, if you want to live in the madman world, Don Draper, where it was just they show up drunk and they were hired just because they were white male, that world's gone. And it's based on if you can perform. And that's what we're seeing. It's a cultural shift, it's a demographic shift, and it's a societal shift. So, but yeah, I don't endorse that, and I think it's there's other places. Go to Blue Sky. Blue Sky is
Hang on, guys. I'm trying to fix it. It's an audio issue on my end. Sorry about this.
okay. Soul
All right, gotcha. I got you. We're back. There was something froze up on my end. I just fixed it. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
You gotta love it. But go ahead, Neil. I'm so sorry.
No, I'm just saying, go to Blue Sky, go to other things, and the thing about it is people are welcome to have their opinion, and if they want to be assholes, they can be assholes, but we don't have to, show any deference to it. We don't even have to acknowledge it. And like Chris said, if you want to participate on our forums or on anything that we participate in, and you want to be a hateful bastard, then yeah, he's going to ban you, and he should ban you, and you shouldn't be that way. And if that's the world you want to live in, that's good, but don't be part of us. And you know what? We don't need you on that. So,
shout out to MCT Dread. He says Zuckerberg hacked the stream.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe.
Yo, God,
Who knows?
God forbid.
But
He wants to stop our 10 listeners from
I don't know, right?
exactly.
from preaching the truth.
Yes.
But I will say this to everybody: it's up to you. It's up to you what you want. It's gonna be you. Not to make this a political thing, but the current president, said eloquently in a speech last night to beware of oligarchy in this tech industrial complex, and he's right. You need to be aware, and you need to understand that, because in the end, these people are not for you. They're only here to suck everything out of you, and that's all they care about. I don't care if it's Elon Musk, if it's Mark Zuckerberg, if it's any of these guys. They're parasites, and that's just what it is. So, but anything else, guys, before we go to the news? Maybe we got some good news.
Now that everything's thoroughly depressing.
Yeah, let's go to some good news.
Start the year off on the right foot.
First post of the year, MCT Dread says that he's got a post here. Says that Code Geass is got some new projects coming down. So they've confirmed new projects in production. So that's good. Oh wow, the series is going to celebrate its 20th anniversary in 2026. 2026.
Wow.
Holy crap!
God
oh my
damn.
gosh. Yeah.
Feeling old.
No shit, right?
Yes.
Code Geass, you mean that new show from a few years ago? No, the show from 20 years ago.
Oh my god, that almost seems like I mean, maybe it's because we sat there and we didn't know what we were doing, and we were doing like scene by scene reviews at that point. But it was like it almost feels like, didn't we just? I almost remember being in Solbro's apartment, sitting there doing reviews on this stuff. 3 hours of my Sunday just gone because I'm sitting there going through 4 episodes of Code Geass. Holy crap, yeah. But yeah, at the annual Code Geass screening event, held in honor of Alusha's birthday, there was some new stuff. They gave some details on multiple new works that were not disclosed, and they had continuous screenings. 13 films to date will take place. So yeah. Yeah, so it looks like, there's going to be some new Code Geass in the future. So, wow.
Hopefully better than Rose of the Recapture, which was shit.
Oh, it was bad, huh?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was shit.
Damn.
It's not good.
They have not had the quality level since the initial TV series, man. That sucks, man. Because
sometimes you just can't recapture that lightning in the bottle.
Yeah,
I think
it's real difficult.
I mean, it's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough. I hear that stuff all the time. It's like, sometimes the
thrill is gone, man. The thrill is gone.
It's not that it's gone. You just can't recreate it.
And the Crimson's question in the chat. No, Rose is not worth watching. It's shit. Don't waste your time.
Damn.
12 episodes of your life you're never gonna get back.
Tough times,
That's
man.
bad.
Fuck.
I have enough of that in my life. Shit, I'll never get back.
Just more disappointment. Jesus
Christ. How much more disappointment in life about anime can I have? It's like,
no.
Well, anime is nothing but disappointment. Haven't you been
It's
paying
like
attention?
especially those years before it really became mainstream. It's like, oh my god! It's like how many times did I sit there and just wait for things to come down? It's like, oh
What,
boy,
it
this
ended
is
there, and there's not a second season.
oh my god. or
It got
um,
canceled.
or wait, there's the break and they come back and wait, they're what storyline is this now?
So it's totally changed.
Yeah, wait.
And
the
as
time
Yahtzee points
skip?
out in the chat, Rose is from the same writer who did a MAME and the original Gundam Bill Divers. So
Oh
it
no!
sits in appropriate
Whew.
company of other Drek.
God
Yeah.
damn, dude,
There you go. So
that's tough.
well, MCT Dre comes back. He's got I guess that One Piece Frankie voice actor Kazuki Yao to retire from role. Wow. I mean, I guess if you've been on a show for like a million years, because it seems like, I mean, he first appeared in One Piece anime in 2005. So yeah, I guess it's pension time.
Well, keep in mind, this is a guy. This is the voice of Judo.
Yeah,
He's been around
he's been around
a
forever. Yeah.
I've heard-
long time.
He's 65. Yeah,
I've heard about his
Yeah.
issues as of recently with his voice and having to do like over exuberant roles. Man, that's tough, man.
He also looks like a skeleton. So
oh, does
Dude,
he?
he's 60.
Jeez.
He's 65.
not doing-
Yeah, so he's
he's not doing like Japanese voice actor from the 80s. Probably smokes like a chimney. Like
Yeah.
he's
I mean, yeah,
does not look long for this world, unfortunately. But he leaves behind a body of work of so many famous characters. Obviously, Judo Ashita, of course, Frankie. He also was Shinobu in the original Dan Cougar.
Man.
Just
Damn,
a classic
cigarettes just
hot-blooded
they
voice.
cigarettes just have a body count of Japanese voice actors, don't they? I mean,
Of a certain time.
yeah, definitely, yeah. Next one here. Oh man, MCG Dread comes back. It looks like Games Workshop and Amazon finalized a deal for Henry Cavill's Warhammer 40,000 cinematic universe, but may take a number of years. Yeah, I'd heard this over the break. I guess he's like a huge Warhammer guy. I didn't realize that. That's,
He is. Yeah, he's
that's
super
pretty
That
cool.
is, that is an understatement.
I knew it. Yeah, I knew he was into gaming. I just didn't know like to the extent of this. It's like that's pretty damn cool. So yeah, it looks like.
Well, I have a prediction about Warhammer, even though I've never played Tabletop game or any of the video games or read any of the 50 bajillion novels. I have a prediction, and the prediction is that when the series comes out, a bunch of people are going to watch space fascism on display and are going to completely miss the message.
Oh.
That's my bold original prediction.
So bold.
That is
kind of like Gundam,
copyrighted,
right?
do not steal.
Kind of like Gundam.
The Xeon have already foretold this.
Yeah, I mean it's like they forget what Star's about, and that Xeon's actually the bad guys and are actually terrible.
The Imperium of Man did nothing wrong.
Yeah, I mean. So yeah, it says Game Workshop said it will work with Amazon for a period of 12 months, ending in December 2024. This article was done in December of 2024. So I guess they got a major update confirming the deal got across the finish line, and it looks like it's still in like pre-production. So yeah, it's gonna take a while. So, but yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I saw that and I was like, wow, shit, I didn't realize that. Warhammer is that thing I've always been aware of, but yeah, I've never been into it. And I remember going to some of those comic book stores where they'd have the tables out, and I'd sit there and look at it, and I'd be like, I'd watch these dudes go on it, and I mean, it's a special type of gamer, so it's just not me. But hey, that'll be cool. But yeah, I think you're right, Chris. That it'll go out and everybody will miss the point. It'll be like the fascists are so cool.
It's just a hunch.
Yeah. See what 40 years of Gundam. Sony becomes the largest shareholder in this MCG Dread and the From Software parent Kadokawa. No full takeover from now. Yeah, I saw this over the break too. It looks like Sony's invested 40 billion yen in From Software parent company Kadokawa, putting the brakes on a full takeover from now. So it looks like they're just giving them a cash infusion, and they described it as a strategic capital and business alliance. Oh, they must have talked to some American bullshit artists for that thing. It's kind of like SpaceX's rapid, what was it? Unscheduled rapid disassembly today when their freaking thing. Oh, when their thing blew up. Everybody else would call it a failure, but it's just
it's a success because we learned that rockets blow up.
Oh God.
Yeah.
We want rocket go up, but rocket go boom. Why rocket go boom?
So I saw the alert came on my phone from CNBC, a bunch of fucking hacks now, and they're like, well, the booster landed, but then the vehicle that would house the crew, it blew up, and that was, but what SpaceX calls a rapid unscheduled disassembly. I'm like, huh?
Did you see the video of like the debris like
raining down on the Caribbean? Yeah.
When I saw that, you know what I thought of?
What the Operation British?
No, it made me think of Zeta Gundam when there was a AU ship that got destroyed.
Oh yeah.
And the narrator is like, just very grimly saying at the end that like all the stars streaking in the night sky are the the lives lost on that ship, and it's like, oh damn.
I texted Miriam when I saw that. I said, Boeing needs the marketing team. They need the PR team from SpaceX, because they could have just said that was a rapid ajar door that came out of that Alaska Airlines flight instead of just it blowing out.
You just need a reality distortion field for your PR.
Pretty much, yeah, it's pretty much. So. Another one here, MCT Dread, Mobile Suit Gundam. The Witch from Mercury goes back to school with a new spin-off manga. That's pretty cool. More manga. Said this time it's going to be a new manga that's going to be coming to the comic new type in spring of 2025. It's going to be called Mobile Suit Gundam, The Witch from Mercury, Seishun Frontier, which means Youth Frontier. It's going to be a parallel story set in the near future Japan where Suletta and Mirano meet as high school girls. So it's kind of one of those different takes on the relationships and stuff. So you guys excited about this? Or
I mean, sounds interesting. I correct me if I'm wrong. I heard that this doesn't have any Gundams in it at all. It's just basically the story from the show,
like a high school drama.
Yeah, high school drama. More and maybe more in the lines of what's that one? Utena. I don't know if that if it will carry over like some of the same themes from that, but it's cool. I'm glad to see they're getting a kind of a slice of life story. I think there's an Evangelion manga that's like that too, where it plays off of the one of the parallel universes that the ending brings up, and that's super cool, man. I hope it's a hit. Hope people all check it out.
Yeah. Chris, anything? So it's always cool.
Robots, no read.
Oh man, MCG Dread comes back with another one. Oh man, there's some sad news. Oh man, I guess he survived. I didn't realize he survived the Battle of Yavin, but it looks like Gold Leader Angus McGuinness, Star Wars actor, died at 77. Yeah, he died not too long ago. 77. He appeared in the super popular Star Wars Episode 4. He was Gold Leader, and he was also in Rogue One, where we saw kind of his prequel thing. So we're like, oh wow, this guy was actually a badass before Darth Vader nerfed him. And but he was in a lot of things. I guess he was one of these I guess they call him character actors. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he's other acting credits.
Hold on,
based.
Oh,
What?
go ahead. Go ahead. See, acting critics. I might,
What's
I
what's
might
going
spoil what
on?
you're gonna say. Yaji wrote something in the chat, but I might be spoiling what you're about to read. So
Well,
go
I
ahead.
don't care. Just say it. What's going on?
Credits are not
Yeah.
He was
spoilers.
in
Just fucking
Strange
say it.
Brew. Yes,
Okay. That's what I was gonna
he
ask you.
was. Yeah, he's a freaking Rosie. I know
That's
that.
right. He
He's
isn't. Yo.
Rosie. I know this, man.
Oh man, I
Okay,
didn't recognize the mustache, dude. I'm sorry. Holy shit.
take off, eh?
Take.
Um. So yeah, he's in Space 1999, Atlantic City, Outland, The Littlest Hobo, Witness, Half Moon. I mean, Hellbound, Hellraiser. I was never into Hellraiser
Yo,
stuff.
sleepers? Oh shit.
Sleepers, Roughneck. Oh, he was in the Sylvester Stallone Judge Dredd.
Oh no.
Um, that's so bad. Formula One or Formula 51. Sorry, it's about to come back. That's why I'm excited. Oh, he's in Captain Phillips too. I
Oh
remember watching
shit.
that movie.
I'm the captain
Yeah,
now.
so,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know he was Rosie. Thank you,
Man.
Yazzie.
His best
Oh
role ever.
man, that is one of the greatest comedy movies ever.
Should have
So
put it. This should have been top on the
we're not
list.
even going down the.
That's
Yeah,
right.
exactly. It should be Star Wars. Strange Brew actor passes.
I'm mad they left it off the article, man. What the fuck,
I
man?
know. Yeah, exactly. All Maple Leafs at half staff.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, rest in peace, though, man. His
Yeah.
contribution was significant, man. And shout out to Angus, man. I didn't know his name. I didn't know his
Gold
name
Leader
until
was the
now.
guy that Gold Leader was the stay on target guy, right?
I don't know. I have to go back and look.
I can't remember. I haven't seen
Yeah.
Star Wars in such a long time.
Yeah.
But and then MCG Dread comes back with some with ranting, and it looks like Max just removed several popular animated shows from streaming.
Again?
Yeah, I
Shit.
mean, yeah, Ed and Eddie, The Grim Adventures of Billy. All the good stuff. Green Lantern, the animated series, Looney Tunes, and Static Shock. I actually did like Static Shock.
Damn,
I don't know
man,
why.
that sucks.
Static Shock was that's a guilty pleasure. That shit was
That Green Lantern show
stupid.
has no luck because it just keeps coming and going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. God
It's
damn.
a lot of stuff, but isn't this a way that isn't it removing them streaming a way that they don't have to pay residuals? That's what I had heard. Yeah,
That's correct.
So,
Yeah.
So because if it's constantly on there and people are accessing it, they got to pay them. So
Yeah.
and Hollywood doesn't like to pay. So unless it's
And
sexual
people wonder why-
harassment settlements,
People
Unless
wonder
it's
why people
settlements
set
to keep
sail.
people quiet.
Yeah. And they wonder why people set sail on the seven seas.
Oh,
They
hoist the
wonder.
pirate flag.
Indeed.
Yeah, well, they could go fuck off. So let's see here. Oh, he comes here with there is a Tokyo. Oh, Chris, was this there when you were in Tokyo? A Tokyo exposition celebrates giant anime robots throughout the decades. That sounds pretty badass. The history of
They did not have that, but to potentially like deflate what you're about to say, I've read reports from people who went that has some pretty glaring omissions, like no Evangelion and just
Really?
a bunch of other stuff you'd expect to see in there, not there.
Oh, so that's like that that Netflix show that was about the greatest rock drummers, and they didn't have Neil Peart from Rush, and I
Ooh.
completely said it was bullshit.
Yeah,
Everybody
yes.
went on that rant. So
Yes.
I'm like, wait a second.
How could you do this?
You mentioned
Like-
every
like,
other
really, how
guy
do you leave
except
him out?
the guy that every
This makes
drummer
no
says
sense.
is the
But,
greatest drummer.
Yeah, it's kind of whack, man. That don't have
Oh my
some of the more
Yeah,
they're missing so many
whacked
of the
out.
iconic robots. I mean, I do see some on this image right here that are pretty iconic. I see the Valkyrie and Magnus Z, of course, and maybe they just couldn't get them all.
Yeah,
but
because
there's
the
a lot
article
missing.
says there's no
There's a lot
Evangelion, no
missing.
Pat Labor, and no Gurren Lagann or Kogia.
Damn it! Hang on, guys. I don't know what's causing this, but I'm gonna get to the bottom of this. Give me just a second. All right, almost back. And it sucks when you test out new equipment, right? This happens sometimes. Give me just a second. All right, and
I guess this is Man in the Can.
All right, you're back. All right, cool. I lost you guys for a second, the audio, but
You lost us or they lost us?
I lost you. My headphones my new headphones that I just got keep disconnecting, and I don't know why. So I'm gonna see if I can get my old headphones reconnected. But
reconnect your old ones.
Yeah, I'm reconnect my old ones. So you do that. You keep talking, and I will go ahead and get that taken care of.
Okay, and more death news. Classic Dragon Ball Z dub star Dale Wilson dies at 74.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I remember. I remember seeing this too. So he's he died from Parkinson's. That's pretty bad.
I didn't hear how he passed away. I just heard that he passed. I mean, he was the voice of I believe the narrator in the Canadian dub.
He's in that, and he's also in G.I. Joe, X-Men Evolution, and more. So yeah, that's pretty sad. But 74, good life, I guess. So, let's see. Oh, Hulu. I don't know. I saw this online. I haven't checked it yet because I do have Hulu. Hulu to add multiple Macross on January 20th.
It happened.
January 13th.
It's all there, right? All there except for the stuff that won't be there.
Yes. Unfortunately.
Yeah, so Super Dimension, Fortress, Flashback 2012, Lovers Again, Macross Plus, Macross Movie Edition, Macross Delta, Passionate, the movies, Macross Delta, Macross Zero, Macross 7, Macross Dynamite 7, Macross 7, yeah. Well, no Dennis, man, come on.
No Dennis.
You're talking about Macross 2 is on there.
Oh, yeah,
is
no
it?
shit. That's
where? Hold on. I'm sorry. I missed it. Sorry.
Literally everything is there except the original series and Daryl.
Yeah, Daryl. Sorry.
Everyone can experience the majesty of Dennis.
Why no original series in Daryl?
Why. You know.
Oh, it's still. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know why?
Unfortunately.
The real estate's up. Why do they care?
The real estate's all burnt down.
Oh,
probably.
Shit.
And then this is news that happened today. David Lynch, the famous actor, died today at 78.
Director.
So.
Yeah. He passed away.
Yeah.
So did Bob Uecker for those sports fans or
fans of
Mr. Belvedere.
Mm-hmm. I didn't realize he was still alive.
I didn't know either. I thought he had done passed.
I was like, whoa. I mean, he's great because if you ever watch Major League, the first Major League, which is actually a really funny sports movie, he's great at that.
Yeah, he's very funny.
Because he does his best John Madden, Pat Summerall, where they used to just get drunk doing NFL games.
The first time I ever saw him was in Mr. Belvedere. He played the father of the family in that show. And I didn't know he had anything to do with sports or was a baseball guy until after I saw him in Major League. And it's like, oh shit! So he has a whole history in baseball and doing announcing and all that stuff. That's super cool. But ironically, I think he did play like a sportscaster on Mr. Belvedere as well. That was his trade, so he wasn't too far off. But yeah, I had no idea he was still around. And David Lynch, I knew he was still around. He was, of course, he's quite vocal in his podcast. But I have a friend that's
for David Lynch, whose filmography includes as Yahtzee notes, Crazy Clown Time.
Yeah, absolutely, it sure does.
The all-time classic, Crazy Clown Time. Which, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to YouTube and look up Crazy Clown Time, and you will learn things.
Yeah,
too many things.
Yeah, he was definitely he was out there. I mean, he would do different things. I mean, because I was like, they were sitting there like talking about it. It's like he's, what is it? Blue Velvet is like and Mulholland Drive are like his biggest ones that they talk about. But then he just would do some of these very bizarre things, and I mean, it's
those are both pretty bizarre movies too. Let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, he was always kind of out there, but
Inland Empire, Twin Peaks, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will
so-
say, if you're a fan of David Lynch, go on Instagram. There's a post from Kyle MacLachlan where he writes very endearingly and heartwarmingly about his 40-year friendship with David Lynch, and it's it'll make you tear up a little bit.
Damn, man, that's rough.
yeah. So yeah.
You guys keep
I
talking.
mean,
I have to go grab my headphones from the next room. I'll be right back. But
well, cool. Any news, Chris? Well, thank you for everybody for your news articles. Always post those to the news listener submitted news articles thread in the Gundam section of the Mecha Talk forum. Chris, anything in from MAHQ that you want to talk about, or anything I missed maybe that you wanted to bring forth before we go to our first and only topic of the night?
You might have missed MHQ looking kind of messed up for a couple of weeks, which was a issue we're dealing with, but it's all back to normal now. So that's that's the most exciting thing on that end.
Okay. All right. I guess, Chris, you want to give us? I guess we'll go into Transformers 1. You want to give us a quick summary of the movie? This movie came out in the latter half of 2024. So it is basically an origin story of Optimus Prime and Megatron. So you want to give us a quick little thing here as we wait for Soulbro to come back?
I'm gonna read something ridiculous that both is and is not a summary of this movie.
Okay.
And
Okay.
You will understand what I mean.
Am I supposed
this is
to
from-
guess where it comes from? No.
No, you will understand. You will get it. You will appreciate it. This is
Okay.
from an Instagram post that a friend sent to me describing Transformers 1 in a nutshell. And it goes: imagine two guys somehow get into a NASCAR race with their SUV and almost win. Then afterwards, nobody knows where they are for the rest of the day. And then in the middle of the next day, you find out the president is giving the nation's resources away to aliens or something. Then the two guys come back with actual NASCARs. Then one of them kills the president and apparently kills the other guy he was with, then tries to claim he's the new president. Then his bro comes back to life now with superpowers given to him by God and stops his bro and sends him to Ohio or something.
Yeah. That's actually a great synopsis of this movie.
That's it. That's the synopsis of the movie. We're done.
That's actually spot on. I mean, it's actually clear, concise, and outside of the points of like you could search or replace like maybe NASCAR and bro and president and things like that, and just put in like actual character names. I think it works.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that is a great point. So
I knew you'd appreciate it.
who are you willing to say who gave you that? I mean, should we give that person? I feel we should give that person the shout out because I think that's a great way of saying it. I don't know. It's up to you. It's your friend. So.
Oh well, this is not my friend. Like my friend just sent me the link. It's that they didn't create.
Oh,
it.
it's from somebody else. Oh, okay.
Somebody else, and I don't know if this person created it. And they got kind of a weird looking screen name, so I'm just gonna.
That's fine. I thought I have misunderstood. Okay, but that is actually a great synopsis of it because
Our work is done.
our work is done. Yeah, search and replace Megatron or Optimus Prime or Orion Pax or what is he? He's D or D. I forget what the hell Megatron's name is.
D16.
D16. Yeah.
Yeah. Before you go on, I would like to switch my headphones. I have to. It'll be a moment of silence while I do that. Give me just a second. Let's do
All right.
this
Well,
now.
we'll go to Chris and
Moment of silence for Orion Pax.
Indeed.
Orion Pax. Yeah.
Yes.
Because we thought he was gonna die.
Oh yeah. In some ways,
It's
he
like
did.
why did everybody else have like a letter and a number, and he actually had a name. He like had a full. He had a first name and a last name. But Megatron. I could see why Megatron turned evil. It's like if you're D16, wouldn't you be pissed off? But
I don't want to be just a D16. Like,
no. And just be called D for short, as in like D's nuts or something. I don't know. But
So anyway,
Yeah,
as an actual synopsis of the movie, yes, it is a origin story of the rival.
Hold on, guys. Stand by. I'm fixing this. Sorry. Give me just a second. Turn this off. Okay, cool. And gotta go back. Headphones. Testing 1 2. 1 2 testing. Stream, let me know if you can hear my voice. I'm sure you can. Chris Neo, say something to me real quick. All right, I don't have sound. That's great. God damn it. Get to the volume control real quick. Make sure that headphones. Gotta do a sound test real quick. Sorry about the wait.
With an ovo.
Yeah, I'll get that. Let me get out of Discord and go back in. Sorry about this. All right, close out of this. Oh, you gotta love tech issues, guys. It's the best. It's the fucking best. Yes. Guys, let me know if you can hear my voice. It's the Soul Bro Show now. Oh, you bet. It was my plan the whole time.
Whelming display.
Okay, so I can hear video. And headphones, TF. All right, cool. Opening up Discord. Let's get back in there, baby. So wild. The headphones I was using was so good. They're so good. The sound is great. It's the Bluetooth signal keeps cutting out. And then it makes everything else go out, which is just annoying as fuck. All right. So default input. Oh, okay. I fixed this. Fix this right now. There we go. All right, cool. I think I fixed it. Let's see what happens. Pray for me, guys.
Yes.
All right, good. I can hear you guys. All right, we're good. Everything's solid. Yes, we're back.
Is it?
All right.
Is it though?
Yes.
Because where did we go off?
I switched to a much better headphone set, so we're good.
I'm glad that you switched to a better headphone set. But where did we go off? Because
y'all were just about to. I could tell you where you guys had already discussed the premise of the film. Chris was about to start talking about either you or Chris was about to talk about your opinions of the movie. So that's basically where we were. So if you want to pick up right back there, you're more than welcome to.
Okay, so Chris, go. I guess start from where you were talking about.
Well, I lost my mental train of thought. So, Neo, why don't you give us your opinions on the movie?
Okay, so yeah, I mean, when I came in, I didn't see it in the theaters. I saw it on streaming, and I don't know how many times we've seen the origin story of Optimus and Megatron. It seems like in every iteration, every media, there's some type of retelling of that. And it's interesting because we're sitting there and we're seeing them as, because what I've remembered them before was I've always known that Orion Pax, who's the precursor to Optimus Prime, was always like a lowly worker. Most of the time, Megatron was always like a fighter, like a gladiator or something.
He's been depicted as a gladiator, like in Prime. He was Megatronus the Gladiator.
Yeah, and it always seemed like there was a little bit different thing on this, but the fact that we really see them being, I guess, friends, they're colleagues because they're stuck in those energon mines, and you get the idea of what they're kind of going through. you definitely see that there's something up. I mean, as soon as Sentinel Prime comes in, you do understand that something's kind of going on, and the way they make it, I mean, he is just like, you can just tell from the beginning he's just full of shit. It's like you sit there, he's like, oh yeah, I came back from another thing. Sorry, I can't find the Matrix. So just keep mining, guys. So when I went into it, I had like, I just had level expectations. I'm like, okay, here we go again. We're gonna see this story again. But as I sat there and I watched it, it made sense. It's definitely a great. I think it's more of a solid retelling. Spoiler alert. It really makes the whole betrayal thing that we've seen between Megatron and Optimus. At one point they were brothers, now they're not. You get more of that sense in this. I think it stays within that lore. It definitely has the heart and soul, as that one guy would say from years ago. I mean, it definitely feels. It has that, the basic Generation 1 telling. It is a little predictable. I mean, and I will say this. Whoever made this, my God, they're a fan of different animes and stuff like that. I mean, the point where, Megatron grabs Sentinel Prime and he breaks him apart over his head. I'm like, I texted these guys and like, he did his Ex Marquis, where it's the same thing where he just did that thing. Fools! I'm just like, oh my God, how many different. I mean, I swear to God, if you put them side by side, it's exactly the same. And then of course, he's Orion Pax. He gets his cog, and he gets defeated by Megatron, or he's still D at that point. But that was and then he does the transformation and stuff like that. I think it really did a great job of kind of retelling something we kind of knew, but it really made it a little bit tighter, because I've always felt like that whole thing of Megatron and Optimus and the relationship before was always kind of weird, and it never really seemed really that fleshed out. Once again, but they do. The constant is Sentinel Prime's just a dick. I mean, that he's just a traitorous dick. Now, forgive me on this. The whole thing with the quintessence. Why do they want Cybertron? Is it just for the Energon? Or
I mean, the lore is that they created Cybertronians, I believe, initially, but then
But I don't feel like that's the case in this movie.
Or Primus,
though.
I should say. Yeah.
No, Primus is. They talk about it at the beginning. Primus was a different.
Yeah. Primus turns into
right?
Cybertron. Yeah. But the lore has that they created Transformers in general, and then Transformers got away with them. Now in this movie, I don't know what the backstory is with the Quintessons. We got so little of them, but they do tie into it somewhere. So, I guess we'll see if we get another.
I think
another movie, but I don't know if we will. But
No, we're definitely not, because this
Yeah.
movie bombed.
yeah, it did.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, I mean, I do have some things that I wasn't completely happy with, but I mean, overall, I think it was actually pretty fun. I get the hype on it. I think it was, I feel like it was a really fun movie. I mean, it's funny because it's like, so you have the voice cast is what, like 1/3 of the original Avengers from the MCU, because you have Thor as Optimus, and you have Alita
Scarlett
1, which is Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
And it had and then of course Primus is Morpheus. I'm like, they should have had Keanu in there somewhere. Like, it's like, if you're gonna do people like this, you got to do them in Paris. I'm sorry. You could have had him as somebody else. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I will say this. I think um, the third act of the movie is the best part of the movie. I think, and I'll get back into it when we kind of talk about stuff like we don't like. I think if they shifted the story a little different, it's like a lot less of the beginning and a little bit more in the middle of kind of like, how we get to the point at the end, because the last part is freaking fun. I mean, I'll be honest with you. It's fun. It's predictive. It's a little cliche, and there is like so many different things. It's like, wait, that's from what show? And you sit there, and there's so many scenes like that, but it's not it. It didn't take itself serious. It was, and it didn't. It kept that thing where I think it, for a true Transformers fan, it keeps with the lore, but I think there's enough there where even if you're not I mean, I'm a Transformers fan, but I'm not like a diehard. I still enjoyed it. Like I told these guys, I was like, it actually exceeded my expectations because I didn't think it was going to be as good as it was. Like at the end, I was like, oh yeah, that was great. This is a good movie.
Yeah.
Like I actually like this. Like I don't know if I would have. I mean, I don't know if I would have paid money for it, but I probably would have paid money for it. But no, it was just it was a good retelling. I feel in some ways it's probably one of the more like better tellings of their origin. But I will say this, I don't think we need more of this, but maybe it's getting to a point of like maybe we just go in other routes with the Transformers, but I know because they still are, Optimus and Megatron are still the most popular ones, and so, and then the origin of the Decepticon logo I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, basically Megatron or D16, he was just a giant fanboy of Megatronus, who was one of the primes in this one. So but back to you, Chris.
So I will say that overall, I enjoyed this movie a lot. I did see it in the theater, so it was a nice big screen spectacle. It's very well animated. It's very colorful. There's a lot of just really great just backgrounds and images of this movie. Notably, this is, of all the Transformers theatrical releases, this is the first one that is entirely bot focused and has no humans at all.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's true. Yeah.
And it works. This is the movie that I feel like Transformers fans have been complaining that they want for so long, because they don't want any humans involved at all. They don't want this. They just want robots punching each other. Then it's like finally this movie comes along, and they didn't go see it because it bombed. Now I will say, in all fairness, though, the marketing of this movie did it no fucking favors at all, because it was some of the worst marketing I've seen in a while for a movie. Like the first trailer was cut very goofy with like modern music, and it just seemed like the normiest movie that ever normied with a Transformer skin over it.
Yeah.
And that trailer was just so god awful that it set a tone that was not suggestive of this movie being good. And then you watch the movie and it's like, holy shit, this movie's actually amazing. Fuck that trailer. What the hell were they thinking? Like, who worked on the marketing of this? Because it's awful. And I feel like maybe a good amount of people saw that shitty first trailer and were turned off by it and never came back and gave it a chance.
Well, you're talking to one. I saw that trailer. I was like, I'll watch it on streaming. Did not want it. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately it worked. I was in, and it's the same thing because, I mean, how many of the origin stories have we seen with these guys, and all these different iterations? And I was just like, okay. And then after that, that's when I was like hearing, oh, this movie's freaking amazing. So when people saw it, so yeah, you're speaking to somebody like that.
All right,
marketing does work.
Yeah, I think the movie was pretty well cast. Obviously we were not going to get Peter Cullen and Frank Welker doing this movie. Those guys can't be in everything, and they're both older guys, so their time in Transformers is coming to a close if it hasn't already. And I would say, all the things that we've enjoyed them in up to this point have been a gift beyond what anybody could have hoped for back in the '80s. So, let's let other people take the reins as appropriate. I think it's a good friendship journey of seeing how these two guys had very different life outlooks. Orion Pax, upbeat, generally optimistic guy. E16, very cynical, very pessimistic about the future of what they have going on. And then when he learns the truth about how Sentinel Prime is a traitor, like so it sort of like breaks him, just the despondency that he feels of like, we are stuck in this corrupt system that keeps us down. The only way to fight it is to destroy it. A lot of big action in that third act, fighting Sentinel Prime and all his minions, and then of course the battle between the newly born Optimus and Megatron. What I will say is, I feel like at the end things got a little rushed, particularly when we get to E16, and it feels like he goes really fast from "I'm tired of saving you" to "now I'm Megatron and I'm actively trying to fucking kill you."
That was going to be my big gripe. Yes, that's my big, because for him to do that transformation, you want to at least see earlier in his as D16 that he has that aggressive point, or he just like he has kind of that revolutionary.
We see a little bit, like
but
his attitude,
not
like,
enough
he makes comments, not enough to that extent.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
I feel like this.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, honestly, of all the things with this is the one where you actually, in some way, kind of, I understand Megatron more here. Like, in some ways, I feel like maybe he is correct. It's like, Prime is wanting to, we just have to do what's right, and we can't do, and it's like, when the things that the fact that they, the point where they have that thing where Sentinel Prime's like, yeah, you were newborn little babies and we took away your cog, you didn't even know, blah 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 blah, and it's actually a pretty horrible thing what they did to them. And
Megatron is definitely Magneto in this situation in terms of
yes, he is. He is
anger.
Magneto. Yeah, he definitely is. I never felt that way before. It was like, this incarnation of Magneto, Megatron, it's like, I understand why he is the way he is, but the turnover is like, where he just goes from, 0 to 60s. It's way too jarring, and that was my thing too. I felt like the third act, as good as it was a little rushed, and I feel like maybe if they paired, because the first act with kind of establishing what's going on in their world, I think it was a little too much. Even with the race, I feel like was that even needed? In some ways, I felt like that was the pod race in Phantom Menace. I don't know, so, or just expand it. Maybe this is one of the few movies I say add another 15 minutes to it. So
I kind of wonder, and obviously I have nothing to support this, but I feel like E16's very rapid evolution into Megatron in Act 3, that was a corporate mandate from Hasbro of, this movie needs to end with a big battle between, and you figure out how to do it.
Yeah, because in some ways, maybe they didn't need to do that for the story, especially if there was a possibility of doing a second movie. You might be right on that, actually. Because if it was one of those, I don't know, was this always just going to be a one-off, or was it a potential?
I think I heard some talk that they were considering a trilogy, but Unfortunately, this movie didn't do well, and the year before it, Rise of the
Rise of
Beasts
the Beast.
also did not do that well. Also, in that same year, the D&D movie with Chris Pine did not do that well, even though it's a great movie. So,
No, I
all
know.
three of
That's
these
crazy.
movies collectively being big underperformers has led Hasbro to decide that they're gonna uh, pull back on being involved in movies, which is a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
The
no, we're
story,
never gonna see, we're
the
never gonna
story.
see movies. We're never gonna see part 2 and 3. If it ever happens, I would say it's probably gonna be like in comic book form.
Yeah.
And
You
that's a
know,
shame
if there
because,
was any idea of what they want to do, like here, let's crap out a comic book because this is all we're gonna get.
and that's a shame with Hasbro because of all of these big franchises, they have like the better stories. I mean, these are even more solid stories than even some of the better MCU stuff. Like it, it made sense. Um, but yeah, I guess maybe you're right because it is jarring at that point because honestly, I think it would have been better if he didn't do the full turn and you just have the full heel turn in the second movie. I mean, that makes more sense, but maybe don't they do tests? They test these movies, right? So
Yeah.
sometimes they'll test them and they have to reshoot them, so maybe that's what happened. I don't know. Maybe the Heart and Soul guy was there. He's like, "Where's Megatron? He's not Megatron yet. He's still D16. It's still Heart
I
and
feel like
Soul."
this is solely on Hasbro because if you read about the various controversies of Hasbro the last few years, whether it's trying to change the creative license for Dungeons and Dragons, all the magic sets that they're printing, what they're doing in Transformers, like Hasbro, like you read their corporate statements and like they clearly are just one of these companies that has been consumed and shitified by capitalism, and they're just
Yeah.
trying to chase that lie of infinite growth, and they have these massive unrealistic growth targets for Magic and D&D and Transformers, and the D&D movie especially, I hear, like, did decently enough to, like, in normal times it would have warranted a sequel, but because they had unrealistic expectations for how well they thought that it was going to do, that now it's not going to happen. So I feel like the storytelling really is taking a back seat. Not that it was ever the primary concern for Hasbro, but I feel like in the last few years, like so many other companies, they've just gotten shittier and shittier in that pursuit of the lie of infinite growth.
And it's a shame because the D&D movie really was a good movie. And I never, when we went to go see it, I was like, how is this going to work? And I was like pleasantly surprised in the end. I'm like, wow, this is actually a really good adaptation of like, what, a tabletop game,
Yeah,
a classic role playing. I, I was like, it made sense. It was enjoyable. I liked
felt
the
like something out
character.
of Forgotten Realms
Right, yeah. I mean, it
without
had
wearing
a
you down in exposition.
right. It had a beginning. It had a middle. It had an end. That the story was there. It felt like okay at the end. These are good characters. Maybe we could have potential adventures later with them. Something else that's different. So, and that's kind of the same thing I felt with this. But yeah, yeah, that's unfortunate. So.
Solbro, turned over to you.
Mhm.
All right. Well, yeah, I caught this movie like shortly before it came out. Got to see a sneak preview. It was
Ooh.
it blew me away. I've been tracking the progress of this film before, way before it came out, so I knew it was about Optimus and Prime and how things fell apart between them. That was always the premise for this film. Even back when the news broke about this, the leaks came out, all that stuff. So I was looking forward to seeing just a new origin for this. I wasn't sure if it was going to be its own continuity or if it was going to precede the actual Bay movies. I know Bonaventura, one of the producers for this film, said it ties into the movie continuity, but clearly it doesn't.
That
Clearly,
guy just says a bunch of crap, so
yeah,
I don't listen to anything that guy
he says
says.
shit to say shit. I know he's been on top of this and he wants it to because he looks at those movies as good, but those movies have problems. So I'm just looking at this as kind of a brand new origin story. I know when it comes to Prime and D16, or I should say Orion and D16, I love their relationship. I love their back and forth. They really are good friends. They both have flaws and they get on each other's nerves. More so, Orion gets on D16's nerves, but at the same time, he's a loyal friend and he looks after him, and they do have each other's backs. I initially thought that. What's that? Oh, until they don't. Until they don't.
No.
But initially, I thought that D16's turn was a little too sudden when I first saw the film. But then going back and watching it numerous times, and I've seen it between myself watching it, I think I've seen it like 4 times on my own. But then watching people's reactions to it as well has been really fun, because people go into this when they do reactions online. It's like, I heard this movie was good, but I don't know. And then they watch it and they're completely swooned by the movie's ending, because they had no idea it was going to have as dark content as it does. But yeah, watching him, for me, D16's turn is based on Death by a Thousand Cuts. He's a miner, and he puts his life on the line, as you see in the sequence early in the film when him and Orion are trying to save Jazz and get out of the mine, and they probably have lost plenty of friends in accidents like that throughout their time mining. We don't really get an idea of how long they've been doing it or how long they've been, cogless. Since they've been turned online, but it seems like it's been a while since they've been doing this job.
We know how long they've been cogless, because
Since
we find out.
Yeah, but we don't know how long.
We find out later.
From point of activation to where we fall into where they are in the movie, how long they've been doing this job. We don't know how long that is. It could be millions of years. It could have been just 100 days. Who knows? But they've been doing it for a while, and they're pretty good at it for most part, especially after saving Jazz's life and everything. But the troublemakers too. But then you have D16 having a lot of agita with Orion's antics and having to cover for him all the time, the stress of that, and then not wanting to stand up, wanting to keep his head low, wanting to meet the status quo as opposed to causing trouble like Orion does, because Orion thinks they have a bigger purpose. And then, once his reality is shattered, and I've seen this happen to people. This has happened to me, where you get dragged out of your element and you find out shit about the world you don't want to know, but you're better off knowing. It's just at the time when you're in the moment, it's a fucked up situation, because you're having to come to grips with things and make decisions on the fly. And D16 makes some wrong decisions. He's rash. He feels to me, as you guys mentioned, he's a lot like Magnus or Magneto, with his over exaggerate his over enthusiasm for wanting to strike back at the people who hurt him. But he also is right to some degree, because he finds out that this asshole fucking killed his greatest hero and took his cog, which only adds to, insult to injury. He finds out that their cogs are taken from them, which is a violation of their bodies, which is wild to me. That the other ones weren't more angry. They were horrified, but they weren't more angry. I would be as angry as D16, to be quite honest with you, to find out that something was taken from me. My birthright was stolen from me. Nah, that shit is wild. He's wrong for how he went on towards the end of the film, where he wanted to destroy the city and take out anybody who was on Sentinel's side, which is basically anybody who had a cog in that city. He's wrong for that. It's like, that's not the answer. We beat Sentinel Prime. We proved to everybody he's a piece of shit. You don't have to take this further than this. And he goes over the edge. But building up to that, he was justified in his anger, and I now feel that the movie gives you enough to vibe off of with him and how he reacted to the situation, that his turn is quick, but it's not too quick, at least not to me. But
no, it's quick, because what you just said, though, you said
right.
You get to see more of how Orion is. He's optimistic about things.
Yeah,
he's looking at the better things about it. You never see the cynicism, the truth. For it to really balance out, you should see him being a little bit more cynical. Like, as friends, they should be the yin and the yang. almost. Like
And they are,
and
because Prime is more virtuous than D16
right,
is. Right.
but you don't. But even up to that point, you it's more about Orion.
Yeah.
Like this is one of the problems with this stuff is like Optimus is always the hero. Orion becomes Optimus. It always ends up being more about him. The problem with it is they should have gave D16. You should have seen. I feel like we should have seen more, even as a minor, that he was a little bit more revolutionary.
Yeah.
Because in the end, he goes full revolutionary as Megatron. You talk about he wants to destroy he destroys the buildings and the statues and all that stuff. That's full revolutionary. But you go from like, okay, he's not happy where he's at and stuff, but then he's like a full revolutionary. It doesn't work that way. You see the things, and that's my point of like, that's the downside. I'm not talking about like he was justified or anything like that. That's beside the point.
No, I get you.
I'm just talking about how they're telling the story.
No,
it's it's all about Orion. Oh, he's a virtuous guy and all this other things, but then it's like all of a sudden D16 is he's kind of his friend that's kind of disillusioned.
Yeah.
But you don't see it, and all of a sudden it's like, fuck this, I'm just burning it all down. Yeah. It doesn't work that way.
Well, he felt betrayed. It was like finding out your religion is fake. It's like finding out that the preacher that has run your church has been doing some heinous shit behind the scenes. And you're right to argue. When it comes down to it, it's
not arguing. It can be debated. The way it works. It's not even the way of debating it or anything like that. You don't. It's not wrestling. You don't do a quick heel turn in the episode. Like, you have to. The problem is where I was like, I don't see the seeds of him being what he ends up being, because no matter what, I get it. He was disenfranchised. Right. He's screwed over and stuff like that.
Right.
But the facts that him always being a revolutionary, didn't see that in the first and second act.
Sure. Here's how you
fix it. And then
it's
like, yeah. And I think Chris is right, because it ends up being where it's not because of that. It's because they were given the directive, like, Megatron has to show up.
Right.
Because
I think the problem, if you wanted to sum it up, is that D16's journey to Megatron is that he starts the movie as Magneto and he ends it as Killmonger.
Yeah, very true. Yeah. Well, here's how, after seeing this movie so many times, I know of the way to fix this, because it is implied that these accidents have taken lives of different minors. You actually show that in this film. As you mentioned, give this movie about 15 more minutes. Instead of having them save Jazz, which they probably could still do, they lost someone else that was dear to them in that same sequence because of these mining accidents, because they're constantly mining for energon because they're being exploited, which they find out later in the film. If D16, he lost someone dear to him in that sequence, then you can see his righteous turn later on in the film as being more organic, because like, this motherfucker has been making us mine to give these Quintessons our energon, and he's getting our people killed while doing it. Yeah, that to me would be a much more organic turn if it did if their mining had cost the lives of friends they knew.
Actually, the more organic turn would be somebody almost gets killed, and he does more of a thing where he goes up the Darkwing, and they get to the point where they almost like come to blows. I know they kind of did, but he needs to be more revolution. Like that's the thing about it. It's like, I see him as a revolutionary in this. And the fact of like, you don't see those early stages of it, then that's where and maybe I'm nitpicking, but it just felt like we so we laugh about the turn of Anakin Skywalker to Darth Vader,
yes.
But actually, it was probably better paced than the thing from D16 to Megatron, because
I don't know that I could agree with that. I don't think that's a little too far.
Well, even at the beginning of that third movie, he at least.
If you watch Clone Wars, it's better paced. But if you watch the trilogy, it's a little rough. Yeah.
But still, I mean, the point is they could have fleshed it out more, because in the end, it's always about Optimus. Like, that's the thing. They did a good job of telling the story. They did a good job of telling, in the end, of the rivalry between them. But it was still, like all Transformers movies and media or whatever, it's always skewed to the Autobots, and it's always skewed to Optimus. Like I said, in the end, you do understand why. I understand why Megatron did what he did. At the end, when he's blowing up the statues, and I get what he's doing, but I'm just saying, if you had 10 or 15 minutes more, or you took 10 or 15 minutes out of that first act or whatever, and some of that other stuff, to just develop that, or just show shades of it. You don't even have to show like a full thing of it, like a point of like maybe he gets angry about something. He just wants to beat, you see that he wants to punch Darkwing or something like that. You just don't get it. It's a huge heel turn. It doesn't mean that it's a bad movie.
No,
I'm
no.
just saying,
I
like,
didn't think
it could have been
the whole night talking about this one point.
But let me pick up. When it comes down to it, the marketing for this film was pretty bad. I gotta agree with everybody in the chat that was saying so, and Chris. It reminds me of Edge of Tomorrow and how bad that marketing was initially. I thought the trailers were okay, but it didn't seem to catch on to people, and bad marketing for Edge of Tomorrow was one of the reasons why that movie did fail, and it failed here too. I would say the second trailer for this movie was really good for Transformers 1.
It would have been a better first trailer.
It would have been a better first trailer, and that first trailer turned so many people off. I watched reactions from people watching that first trailer, and they felt the same way I did. This just didn't hit. I was still excited for the movie because of the talent involved. And speaking of the talent, man, Chris Hemsworth did a great job. I think he emulated a lot of Peter Cullen's diction and the way he approaches the character, and you can hear the evolution of him from the cogless Orion Pax to when he gets the cog, and then you hear his voice kind of shift a little bit to how Optimus sounds, to going full Optimus by the end of the film. I thought he did a great job, and tonally he sounded a lot like Cullen too. Hemsworth credits Cullen quite a bit in the press tour for this movie about I don't know if he sat down with Cullen or whatnot, but he definitely did study how Cullen performed the character in the animated series and whatnot. So that was great. Brian Tyree Henry, man, I've loved this cat since Atlanta. He plays Paperboy in that show, and he's fantastic there. And to see him embody Megatron, he has a little bit of Welker's rasp to his character too. And by the end, when he becomes full on Megatron, he definitely has the soul of that performance down. Like he's been wanting to be in one of these movies for a long time, so for him to get to play Megatron, I think is a big deal to him, and he took it as seriously as possible. Just to hear his tone change when he lets Optimus go, that's such a pivotal scene when he shoots Orion Paxton and says, I don't have your back anymore, and he just lets his ass drop into the core of Cybertron. That's such a heartbreaking scene, man. They really sold that very well in the film, and their voice acting sold it quite a bit too. Also, Scarlett Johansson's Alita 1 definitely embodies that character quite a bit too. It's funny. I was reading Transformers 12, which also features Alita 1 as well. The comic book, and there's a significant event that takes place in that issue the week I saw this movie. So it almost was like this movie was the beginning of her journey, and then 12 was like a significant, not end, but a significant twist to her character in that book. So it was kind of weird to see the polar opposites of the spectrum of that character presented from this movie to that comic. Also, Keegan-Michael Key's Bumblebee. He managed to balance being annoying with being funny, and I like Keegan-Michael Key. He did a great job as Toad in the Super Mario Brothers movie, but I think he did a really good job as Bumblebee here, and he became exceptionally funny towards the end with the knife hands and shit. Buscemi Steve Buscemi was an inspired choice for Starscream. I think the best casting for Starscream since Steve Bloom in in Transformers Prime and all the other roles that he plays. But hearing Buscemi play this character, whoever decided to cast him, you got to give that guy a raise because that was amazing. John Hamm's Sentinel Prime, though, is the star of the show for me. He really played a petulant piece of shit in the best way. Like when he kills off.
That's his role, though.
Yeah, he's so
he's
good.
Such a great, he's such a
so
good dick.
He's such a dick in this film. And when he was talking to Alpha Trion, he told him to stop speechifying, and Alpha Trion was not trying to hear that shit. And he stabs this shit out of him and says, "I told him to shut up, right?" It's like, how disrespectful. That shit had me bugging. But yeah, man, everybody really brought it in this film. I love the voice cast in this. Is one of the best features of watching this movie. Everybody, the dialogue was inspired. I don't know how much they got to improv or not, but the dialogue in the script I think was very inspired, and it's a great travelogue from where you start in the film to where you get to the end. Did things move a little fast in the film? Sure. But for me, I was kind of prepared for that because I knew by the end these two were going to be at each other's throats. So that wasn't that as much a surprise to me. It's just D16's turn is a little jarring. I won't lie. Outside of that, I think that ILM did an incredible. I don't think ILM has had a feature-length animated film before this. I could be wrong. I have to go back and look. Maybe they have, but this is the first one of note that I've seen of theirs. And I think this movie is incredibly vivid and well animated and stunning by all degrees. I got to give him credit. This movie looks great, and I didn't think it was going to be as good as it was. I thought maybe DreamWorks would work on this or someone else, but no, they knocked it out the park, man. Loved it. Other than that, the set pieces were great. I love the race as it may be a frivolous set piece, but it did get them to end up in the 50th floor with Bumblebee and set them on their journey. So it seemed necessary to me. But the cast had chemistry. The characters had fantastic flow, and ultimately it really stunned me all the way to the end with the reveal of the Decepticon army right after the credits. And I got to give them credit. The way they explain the whole origin of the Decepticons and that the name comes from being deceived by Sentinel Prime, I thought was such a cool way to finally explain the name of their group and why it is the way it is. And of course, how they tie in the emblem of Megatronus Prime as a part of it and all that stuff. I thought they did a really good job of building that up and making that make sense. So, because why would an army call themselves the Decepticons? And now you know why. And I think they did a fantastic job of making that so in this. But other than that, I had a great time. I think this movie is going to get slept on by a lot of people, but eventually I think it'll get viewed quite a bit on Paramount Plus and whatever other services it shows up on. Word of mouth is doing this movie a great job, and I see a lot of people even more and more react to this film on YouTube, and they all say the same thing. It's like, I wish I saw this in the theater because this movie's really good, and the commercials sucked. So it is what it is. But I had a great time watching this, man. I'm glad it's our first review of the new year.
You had to clean house.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, definitely. So, Chris, anything else on this?
You know, something that I was definitely thinking about after watching the first and only time so far, is that you look at the philosophical differences between Orion Pax and D16, and you have the one who's optimistic and the other who's very cynical and wants to tear down the system. It's no coincidence that, the voice actor for Orion Pax is white and the voice actor for D16 is black. I think that was pretty obvious political commentary that they were making with those casting decisions.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
The other cast that popped up, Steve Buscemi is great as Starscream. I think everybody was good in these roles, and I don't have any particular complaints about the voice acting at all. It's definitely one of the for the movie.
Yeah, I actually like the fact that they really kind of fleshed out the whole thing with the Royal Guard. It's like, Starscream and them. It actually makes more sense where you okay, Starscream thinks he's the leader, and he's always wanted to be the leader of the Decepticons. Like,
Yeah.
well, at one point he was the leader of the Royal Guard, and so yeah, I think in terms of that, it makes a lot of sense. It really kind of updates the whole thing with how these groups came about, and yeah, I think it's sad because in some ways I wish they would have timed it in a way where we could have additional movies, but for what it is, I think it's still a good movie. And guys, have anything else before we go to the ratings? But I have one question before we go to the ratings.
Sure.
Anything? You guys have anything?
No.
No.
All right, here's the question. The gold standard's the original Transformers movie. Where does this fall? Where does this fall?
Which one is better than Transformers 1986 versus this? I always say that the 1986, its best moments are in the first 30 minutes, and then it kind of just gets kind of regular after that.
The which one's better?
I gotta say that this one's a bit more consistent. With its distribution. I love all three acts of this film versus the second act of Transformers in 1986 is not as strong. So I would put this one above 86. I would do that. The only place that 86 has got this beat is the music. Go ahead.
If you look beyond the nostalgia, just compare story to story, and Transformers 1 definitely is better than the 1986 movie. Like, yes, it's a beautifully animated movie. Sure, it's got the touch, it's got the power, it's got all of that, but it's far from a perfect story.
No, that's what I wanted to know, because I feel the same way. I didn't want to be shitted on, because that has always been the gold standard when it comes to the stuff with Transformers. And you're right. Transformers has the nostalgia. It has all that. Some of the music is great, but it's a product of its time. And I think in terms of, because you're right, the middle part of Transformers, the first movie is just not very good. And the music's good in this one. I mean, you got the Sober. I knew you liked the ending song, right? It's got 1/3 of the Migos there, so you were loving that, right?
I'm not a Migos guy. I'm sorry.
Oh, man,
not a Migos guy, but props to y'all. If you like the Migos, props to you. I just fast forward past the credits. Yeah.
Did you really? That song was great, man.
I listened to it once. I mean, I listened to my initial viewing, but it was like it's just not. It's just not. For
if it isn't 1994, it doesn't matter, right?
You suck. No, I do listen to new shit. I
do. Stopped in the 20th century.
No, it just got commercial. It got commercial as fuck. But anyway, that's another for another day. But anyway, no, I do. I'd say the only thing that the '86 movie has on this to me is that butt rock music that I fucking love so much from the '86 version.
Oh, the butt rock music's good.
I fucking love that shit.
This has got good music.
But this movie has a beat in every other avenue. So yeah.
I'm gonna throw you all a question.
Oh, please.
I'll throw you all a question. So, out of the collectively 9 Transformers movies that have been released from the original 1986 movie up through Transformers 1, what's your top 3?
My top 3? That's easy. The top 3 would probably be 1, the first Bay movie, and the '86 movie.
All right, Solbro.
For me, it's 1. It's a tough 186, and then Bumblebee. Those are mine.
Well, shit, that's my list too.
There you go, done.
You know what? You guys can sit there and everybody will sit there and they will always crap on that first movie. That first movie's good. Bumblebee's good.
I don't hate the first movie. I don't hate the first movie at all.
I don't hate the first movie, but it's just not my top 3.
Yeah,
no, then that's good.
It would probably be 4, to be honest.
And Bumblebee's my 4th. I think Bumblebee is just, and it's funny because I think the biggest thing about Bumblebee is like everybody always complained about the humans in Transformers. I actually think what makes Bumblebee the greatest is actually the human. She's actually the best human
She easily
in
is.
these movies. Yes.
Yeah, she easily is the best human that's been featured
Yes.
in any of these films.
Yes.
I do like
Charlie. I think her
Charlie.
name was Charlie. Yeah.
I do like the cat
She
from
was-
Beast as well, but Charlie definitely hand over fist. She is.
Yeah, the problem with Beast is the stupid shit in the end when it's like they're trying to do the
Yeah.
the
Oh my God.
crossover.
Yo.
That'll never happen.
Yo, so shout out to MCT Dread. He says, no love for Age of Extinction. MCT Dread, I still want my money back from that film. I want it back. I want my money fucking
Actually,
back.
you know what? My Age of Extinction is bad. My 5 though is Dark of the Moon. I do like Dark of the Moon.
That's Dark of the Moon's
hate to
my
say
5 too.
but Dark of the Moon is my 5.
It's half in,
And-
half out for that film. It's half in, half out.
Yeah, that movie. It's not bad. It's not terrible.
When you get to Chicago
But-
though, and they start fucking that place up, it's like, yo, goddamn, this is something else.
Yeah, and then the coal train shows up. I'm like,
Yeah,
what the
right?
fuck?
Yes!
Like,
Yes!
what is it? Gears of War?
Oh, Terry Tate,
all
baby!
I was confused at a certain point. I'm like, wait,
Oh my
Gears
god!
again.
Yo,
Xbox
you didn't love the last night? Yo, Yazzie, I'm glad I didn't pay for that piece of shit. Oh god, that
Nobody
movie's
loves
awful.
that movie.
Oh my
Woo!
god, that movie's
Trash.
terrible. Like
Especially not anybody who was in it.
that's the one where I'm like, oh man, even as a Sir Bay fan, I'm like, oof.
Bro, you knew you were in for some shit when you saw my man as Merlin at the start.
Yeah, it was
Wait,
like,
weren't you this corporate dude in the last film?
I remember watching that movie. I was like, wait, huh? It's King Arthur and the Knights of the I'm like, ooh, where?
I love Stanley Tucci, man, but that was just it was done.
Yeah,
Off the first frame, I was checked
Yeah.
out. The rest of the film, I just could not. I sat in my seat squirming. I think Neil, you and I watched that shit live and did commentary. I think we did commentary in that
Yeah,
film.
we did.
Somewhere along the way, and it's like, this movie's so bad. I'm mad. I'm watching it a second time with you. I'm so mad. But
Yeah, there comes a point. It's like you support people and stuff like that. And it's even like, you know what? I got to tap out on this one. Like, it's like,
oof.
you know what? I support your career change of going from director to producer. This is bad. It's doo-doo. But yeah.
Tough times.
Yeah, no, that's a great question though. I still like the first Bayformers. I know. It's better than Transmorphers. I'll tell you that much. But I never saw that. But I remember seeing that Blu-ray back in the day. Target. I'm like, Transmorphers. I'm like, oh, this is for the grandmas to trick them into buying it. To give their grandkids. I did the new Transformers. Wait, this is Transmorphers.
What is this bullshit?
From that studio that makes all the freaking knockoff shit. Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. But no, that's mine. Okay. So you guys ready for some ratings?
Sure am.
So, bro, what do you rate this, man? What do you rate this?
I really enjoyed this film, man. I'm gonna give it a firm 4.5 GoBots out of 5, man. Shout outs to Alita One with those insults. She said, "You don't have the touch or the power," and then she called them GoBots. It's like, yo.
Because in a weird way, they're in the same universe, right?
Yeah, they are. Actually, technically, they're in the same universe now, which is too funny. It wouldn't surprise me if we eventually see GoBot characters show up in these
We should.
these series.
That'd be awesome.
At least Leader One, I would say he's a shoe-in to show up eventually. And yes, Anthony Hopkins is probably the best thing about the last night. Shout outs to Kid Convoy for that. Yo, it's
What,
probably
that he
the only
showed
good
up
thing
for
about-
work?
Yeah, man. Him and his robot assistant. Other than that, fuck that movie for real. But
Because he mails in his acting performance in that one. It's like, I think that was the one to get him the SAG healthcare for that year.
oh no! Probably got another vacation home somewhere. Man,
Probably.
terrible.
So, Chris, what is your rating?
I'm gonna give this one 4 stolen transformation cogs out of 5.
Yes. So many stolen.
And where did he put them? That's what I'm wondering. Like, he took them from the babies. It's like when I heard that, I was like, damn, that is some real. It's like, who was this movie rated for? Like, what was the target audience on this movie? Because I'm like, that is some really bad shit. When he's sitting there saying, "Yeah, I took your shit when you were a newborn. You didn't even know, ha ha ha," and then you work for me, motherfucker. It's like, huh? What
So
was the
whack.
marketing on this? I guess it was all wrong there. So, but yeah, I'm gonna have to give it 4 mumble raps out of 5 for Silvera. The Migos are there. 1/3 of them. You had 1/3 Migos. You had 1/3 original Avengers. So, but,
Yeah, man.
Well, I mean, I'd like to see a sequel, but from what it sounds like, we'll never get one. But
Yeah.
okay, or maybe we'll get it in comic book form. So, yeah, this is probably ripe for comic book stuff. It definitely is. But all right.
5 out of 5 punches to Shockwave's eye. Yo, kid got for
Oh my gosh, Shockwave always gets punked.
it.
Why is he the most intimidating look dude, but he's always gets like freaking punked? Like he's
Full of
one
so
of
much
the,
unearned confidence.
Yeah.
yeah, but he I mean just looking at him, I always thought he was like one of the most intimidating. I actually find him more intimidating than the Megatron in some ways. But
He can because he's in most depictions he's an insane fucking character. In that and in the Energon universe, he is fucking wild. But in this he's a little tame. So
yeah, guess so.
Guess before he loses his mind. But yeah.
Well, hopefully we can get that Transformers GoBots crossover with G.I. Joe. That'd be awesome. Yeah, dude, because I hope he kept that card at the end of Beast Wars. So.
Oh man.
So terrible. But guys, anything before we get out of here?
Nothing but
watch
the
this
regular
movie.
stuff. Yeah, definitely go watch this movie. You can find it on Paramount Plus, or I'm sure you can rent it off of other. If you don't have Paramount Plus, you can rent it from other services as well. But yeah, man, it's definitely worth your time, man. If you haven't seen it, make sure that you do.
Yeah.
And,
It's a good one. It exceeds expectations. Like I said, I mean, I was going into it, I was like, how many times do I need to see their origin? It's like, this is actually good. Like, I'm happy. But all right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us for episode 306. So, bro, you want to tell us where they can find us?
yeah, man. Definitely. When you guys have a chance, if you haven't already, hit the subscription button here on youtube.com/GundamnMAHQ. Also, hit the thumbs up on this video if you enjoyed what you saw today. Also, run back some of our older episodes. They're here. But also always make sure to visit MAHQ.net. That's the Mecha and Anime headquarters. If you've never been, go there right now. Hit the favorites button and check back regularly, man. They got a spotlight on Full Metal Panic, baby. Yeah! And Gold Ran as well. Mega Zone 23 Part 3 is cooking right now. Another spotlight going on there. Go there, check them out, and make sure you favorite the website and make it part of your rotation.
That's
exactly
actually early 90s Ultraviolets, I think.
Right? Mega Zone 23 is somewhere there in that area. But also make sure to visit mechatalk.net. That may be eventually the main hub for having back and forths with your fellow MAHQ attendees. So make sure to go there and get register an account and join the conversation there as well. Also, you can find us. We have the right opinions.
Chris is currently getting a perm and training in jiu-jitsu, so he'll allow you to speak on his forum.
Must reclaim masculinity.
I have to update the screen you're looking at, but you can find us on Blue Sky at Gundamn. blue sky dot social, and at mahq.dotnet dot blue sky bsky dot social as well. Also, I did update some of the podcasts over at gundam.podbean.com. You can find our latest episodes. I'm actually working, going back to the last episode that I did in the 200s, and I'm also working backwards as well. So I'm going 1-to-1 until we meet in the middle, and I can do it. It'll fall in line, so don't worry about that. But yeah, you can find the latest episodes. This one's going to go up tomorrow on the feed. So if anything, I hope you guys check that out and make sure to subscribe to it as well over at gundam.podbean.com. And other than that, that's what I have for the moment.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us. It's 2025. Hopefully, we're here in 6 months. You never know. We might be in re-education camps. You never know. You never know that. But thank you for joining us. We'll be back in a few weeks with episode 307, and thank you, and support all the sites that we talked about, especially MHQ. Thank you.